Hi there! So first I want to say congratulations on winning the Ostara rating. Excuse me. And second, thank you for your patience. This past week has actually been unusually busy for me. So I want to say thank you. So let's go ahead and get started. As always, over in the corner you can't really see it. I have a white tea light candle burning to represent spirit. Yours, mine, the divine, just spirit in general. And I have a cone of gardenia incense burning for you today because I just really felt like you needed, excuse me, like you really needed kind of that calm, you know, peaceful, relaxing energy around you right now. And that's something that gardenia does. So the crystals that I have out for you today, as always, I have selenite to attract positive energies. Let me see if I can get some of these in the shot here for you. Yeah, back there. Oops, sorry. So selenite over here, and then black tourmaline to deflect negativity, citrine for abundance, and right here I have one of my favorite crystal pairs, rose quartz and black granite. Rose quartz is really good for opening the heart chakra, working with the heart chakra, anything like that, working on relationships. And to me it represents the female. Black granite, on the other hand, is more of a grounding stone, but it represents the male to me. So in this reading I have both you and your significant other present. Excuse me. Right next to that I have honey calcite, and honey calcite or amber calcite is one of the best healing crystals that I have ever had the chance to work with. I'm not sure what the book associations would be with honey calcite, but I know that for me, when I hold that honey calcite, it actually heals my body. I hold it up to my chest and it clears my airways, or I hold it up to my temple and it alleviates head pain, anything like that. So if you are able to get your hands on a piece of honey calcite, I would suggest you do so and just carry it around with you to kind of keep your physical health at an optimum level. So next to that I have amethyst for psychism and clairvoyance. Over here I have rainbow petrified wood for patience and fluorite for balance. And then I have aura calcite, which is kind of the stone of fearlessness. It helps us overcome fears and work through them, and it helps us realize that fear is the only thing that we really have to fear, if that makes any sense. So next to that I have howlite, again for another form of wisdom. But the interesting thing about howlite is that it has been my experience that it is a sacred stone to buffalo or tatanka. And buffalo or bison is very much associated with the giveaway, with self-sacrifice, but you have to understand that there's a balance between sacrificing for others and making sure that your needs are met first. So I think that's where the wisdom of howlite really tends to come in. So behind that I have my beautiful turquoise to represent spirit, peacock ore for overcoming obstacles, and last but not least, clear quartz for clarity. So, and the deck that wanted to speak with you today is the Fairy Oracle, or the Wild Wisdom of the Fairy Oracle by Lucy Cavendish. I already went ahead and saved us time by shuffling and drawing the cards. I have not looked at them yet, so I am very, very anxious to see what they have to tell you. So our first card represents physical changes that you will be noticing or going through during this Ostara season. And our first card, Fairy Wishing Well, Manifestation, Expectations, and Offerings. This is a beautiful card and a wonderful, wonderful way to start this reading because it represents physical changes. A lot of times when people go to wishing wells, they wish for something to be manifest in their lives without really understanding what it might take to make it happen. But the fun thing about that is you are essentially praying when you go to a wishing well. You are making a sacrifice, you know, via money. You are making a sacrifice and asking for a blessing in return. You know, you're asking for the divine to hear you. So I think that that is going to be a very important part of your transformation over this season, is kind of figuring out and finding balance with what you ask for and what you create for yourself. So I know that you asked, you wanted to know if you might be able to make some kind of living off of one of your talents. And I think that this card is verifying that yes, you can, but it might take a little bit of trial and error to figure out which talents you can best utilize to make the best profit. But as a friend, I want to warn you right now, whatever it is that you are most passionate about, I would suggest trying not to make that the focal point of whatever you're doing, because then it kind of becomes a little less of a passion for you and it becomes more of a job. I am speaking from experience. There are moments that I really do kind of regret opening my shop and started doing readings for people, but those days are a little few and far between. So I just wanted to kind of give you that heads up. Alrighty, the next card represents mental changes that you will be undergoing this Ostara season. And we have the Unicorn and the Maiden. Communication with Unicorn, Purification, and Undercover Action. That light is blinding. There we go. This is actually one of my favorite cards in this deck. I personally do not like to work with Unicorn, but that's because I have a very irrational fear of horses and anything that is associated or related to horses. If the animal is bigger than I am, I would rather keep my distance. So, but in terms of mental changes that need to be made, when I think about unicorns and maidens for that matter, I tend to think more of the inner child and a real true belief in magic. And I don't mean magic like pulling a rabbit out of a hat. I mean magic as in, you know, spell work or prayer work or, you know, aromatherapy, anything like that that you can physically do to create or manifest a change. Whether it's physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, anything like that. So I think that this Ostara season, what we're already seeing is a lot of spiritual changes that need to be made, because there are other areas of your life that need those changes, if that makes any sense at all. Excuse me. So let's go ahead and look at the next card. When I'm done with the reading, I'll go back and kind of look over it as a whole. So the next one represents emotional changes to be made. And we have Keeper of Secrets. Use your discernment, confide in a trusted friend, and keep silent about knowledge. So the first thing that came to my mind when I saw this card, when I flipped over this card just now, I don't know how much you work with animal totems and all of that, but the keeper of secrets in the animal kingdom is the lynx. And the lynx is also a very endangered animal, but what really interests me about the lynx is that, unlike several of their, feline relatives like the lion, they do not travel in packs. Even when they mate, their mate does not stay with them. An interesting thing here, the males will have a very broad territory, okay? And the females will have a smaller territory within each of those larger territories. And once the male and the female mate, once she gets pregnant, they go their separate ways. And the female ends up raising the children more or less on her own. Or, ends up raising her cub or cubs on her own. And I can actually see you in that role, because I know that you have children and your significant other has children. So before he came along, you were essentially on your own. Well, one of the responsibilities of, having a lynx as a totem or as a power animal or as an animal ally is you have to be able to discern when and where certain things are supposed to be said or shown or applied. And it's really very difficult at the very beginning, but the more that you monitor your actions and your words and your thoughts, it becomes easier and things just kind of start to fall into place. So in terms of emotional changes, I want to say I'm feeling like there is a block there, like, not that you are not showing emotion, but that you are not letting yourself experience the deepest aspects of the emotions that you feel on a daily basis. And again, that's more of a spiritual change that needs to be made. The only thing that I can really think is just to, kind of explain what I have always gone through. Lynx is one of my main totem animals. And so it's been a struggle for me to learn and understand and figure out how to apply that particular medicine. But on the flip side, another one of my main totems is hawk, okay? And hawk is the messenger. So I think one of the things that you might want to do this Ostara season is try to find the animals that are most closely associated with your spirit. Which ones you might be most comfortable working with. I know that snake is actually one of my totems, but I don't particularly like working with him. So I generally don't. But that is what makes him a shadow totem for me. And all of this information that we're getting here could be part of your shadow, your shadow self. Especially the unicorn over here, with childlike wonder, belief in magic, all of that wonderful stuff. So the next card is spiritual changes that need to be made. And we have scared to fly, the right moment, sensing out the right timing. Alright, sorry, my camera died, so I had to change the batteries on it. But back to this card, spiritual changes that need to be made. We have Scared to Fly. So, so far what we've been seeing is just a lot of different spiritual energies and different aspects of spirituality that you might want to explore over this Ostara season, and this would be why. The first thing that comes to mind when I look at this card is I hear the phrase, you are afraid to succeed for yourself. Okay, you are afraid to succeed for you. There is no fear of succeeding for your children or for your significant other, but there is a fear there of succeeding for you, doing something for you and actually, you know, having success with it and being able to say, I did this all on my own and I did it for me. And I think that is, with, you know, between all of this, between all of these cards, this is what's most important this season. I know that you were wondering if this year is going to be a good year, and I think that the answer depends on your perspective. If you actually, you know, sit down and go through all of these different things that I've been discussing, it really depends on how you feel throughout the process. If you know, relax and enjoy it, then yes, this year is definitely going to be a good year. But if you look at it from a point of, I'm really struggling with this, and it's getting to the point that you are forcing yourself to do it, then this year is probably not going to be that great for you. So really it just depends on your perspective. So the final card is Who or What Will I Grow to Be? And we have Dark Moon, Maturation, Growing Up, Introspection, and Know Thyself. Beautiful card. So this final card is really keeping with the theme of this reading, that there is some serious work that you might want to do for yourself, especially before attempting to, you know, start a business or anything like that. But that doesn't mean, you know, don't attempt to utilize your talents in a monetary, money beneficial way. There we go. Just start with smaller projects, you know, ask some friends and family members if they would be interested in, you know, doing a little experiment more or less, and seeing if it's something that, one, you would really like to do, and two, something that you really might actually be able to market. I don't know if you were thinking about doing a shop like what I have, or if it was just something that you were thinking of doing kind of on the side, just, you know, locally and whatnot. But that would definitely be a smarter way to go, is to, you know, ask some friends and family members to kind of help you figure out what it is that you can do, what you should do, and what you want to do. Above all, what you want to do. While at the same time focusing on expanding your spirit, you know, quickening your spirit, figuring out where you need to let go and where you need to kind of toughen up, more or less, where you need to find those extra abilities, because we all have spiritual abilities, whether we are aware of it or not. But sorry, my mind just totally went blank. So I know that you asked if your significant other would find work soon. I am not getting a direct answer for that question, but I do get the feeling from the cards that whatever it is that you decide to try, whatever talent it is that you decide to utilize, that should help keep things going until he can find work, or until, you know, it can really take off. It should help during this period of transition. So, and what was your final question? Oh, okay. So I'm looking back over the reading, seeing if there is anything else that they really want you to know. Really, the only thing that is really sticking out right now is on this Dark Moon card, Know Thyself. I'm sure that you have heard the phrase, physician, heal thyself. Well, this applies to spirit, or to the spirit. Spirit, know thyself. Because if you can't recognize your own spirit, how are you going to recognize the divine? So, but alright. If you have any more questions, please feel free to message me. And if not, I really do hope that this helps, and do try to keep me updated. I do worry about you. So, congrats again on winning the Ostara drawing. And again, I hope that this helps, and I hope that you have a blessed Ostara season.